Hey YouTube, Corey Mayo here with a 2008 Toyota Rav4 V6, and this procedure would be the same on 2006 to 2012. Replacing the expansion valve here. This is the old one. Bolt broke off when I was removing it, so I'm going to explain also what to do if that happens to you. I'm not going to remove it step by step. I'm just going to tell you what you have to do. It's really not that difficult. I just so happen to already have the intake manifold off and out of the way because I was changing out the spark plugs, and I was like, you know what? This is going to make it easier. Intake manifold's already out of the way. But you can do it even if the intake manifold is there. You just reach around behind it, either that way or maybe this way. There's some room behind that intake manifold. If you don't own a set of gauges, I do, but if you don't, go to your local auto parts store. You can rent them, put down a deposit. You'll get your money back when you bring them back. Same thing with a vacuum pump. I don't own one of those, but I went and rented one, so I'm going to be using that. First things first, you need to empty, evacuate your refrigerant lines. If you want to do it the professional way, you're supposed to use like a recovery machine or a recovery tank to put all the refrigerant into. If you want to do it the not so professional and the kind of illegal way, I didn't say this, do this at your own risk, but you can let the refrigerant out into the air. Just keep in mind, you don't want to breathe that stuff in. It can kill you because it takes all the oxygen out of the air. And also, just keep in mind, you are polluting if you do that. So, anyways, once you are out of refrigerant, then you can begin to disconnect your lines. It's just one bolt that holds on a plate, and then behind that plate there's two Allen heads. So, and I'll take the camera here in a second and zoom in on all that. So you're gonna have a see, where's the original one? The original one here, it's a 10mm head. All right, and the bolt is longer than that, but like I said, I loosened it a few turns and it just broke off. It may have been previously worked on. I bought this car used with 160,000 miles on it. So if that happens to you, you can go to your local auto parts store, and probably Lowe's or Home Depot too, but I went to, it's either Advance or AutoZone. I think it was AutoZone, and I got this M6 1.0 by 20mm hex bolt. And it's perfect size. So looks like that. Different color from original, but color doesn't really matter. So once you get your expansion valve put back in, then you're going to pull a vacuum 30 minutes to an hour to get all the air and moisture and stuff out of the system. And then you're going to recharge it. You're supposed to put between 15 to 17 ounces of refrigerant. The cans of refrigerant at the parts store that I go to come in 12 ounces. If you can find a 16-ounce size, that would be perfect. But I'm actually going to put 1.5 cans, which will be just like an extra ounce over, which won't hurt anything. It'll be fine. As long as you don't way overcharge it, it'll be fine. Also, when you get your expansion valve kit, I got the Denso brand, which I always recommend for Toyota. It came with new O-rings. I already put most of them, except one of them didn't fit. So I actually stuck with one of the old ones because, you know, if the O-ring doesn't fit, it's going to leak. So, and it wasn't leaking before, so hopefully the old ones will actually be okay. But it does come with new O-rings. To replace the O-rings, you are going to want to use, you might get away with like a screwdriver, but really it's better if you have some pick tools. All right, so I had mentioned the 10mm bolt. Almost forgot to mention the other two, the Allen head bolts, are 4mm. And this is what they look like. All right, so let's bring the camera in here now so you can see a bit better. Get it off of this tripod. Okay, So right here is the plate, and it had the 10 millimeter on it. So you get that off, and then you can just slide this plate back, and then right there is going to be an Allen head, and right there is going to be an Allen head. So you're going to loosen those, and then you'll be able to pull these lines off of the expansion valve. I was just testing out that new bolt that I bought, is why it's back on here right now, but I only have one hand. But anyways, you can see you have 2 O-rings there to replace. And then, oh, also the expansion valve comes with this insulation to wrap around it. See that? It just doesn't go around the top. And then this thing's kind of stuck back on here again. I guess I need 2 hands to get it back off. But anyways, there's an O-ring on this line and one on the bottom one. So you have 4 O-rings that you can replace there. And just put it all back together. It's really pretty simple. And the old one had insulation wrapped completely around it, but I think it'll be completely fine with the top not having insulation on it. I don't see that would be an issue, but yeah, it's really pretty simple and pretty easy to get to on this vehicle. But like I said, you know, if your intake manifold is on because you're not doing your spark plugs while doing this like I am, you just reach around behind there, and it shouldn't be that hard.